Hello everyone. I hope you are doing well, and I hope you are joining me for this live right away. Although I have planned to save this because you guys really like these lives, I'm going to save it for sure. So today I'm in Zurich, and obviously this is the Zurich Lake then. And where would be the best place to talk about doing a PhD in Switzerland? Especially for me, since I've done my PhD at ETH and you would like to know more about this topic. So I decided to be in Zurich when I want to talk about how doing a PhD really look like when it comes to Switzerland, when it comes to maybe some German speaking universities. And whenever you have some questions, just write it in the comments or whatever it is here. This would be the third live, I believe, and I plan to save it. So your questions would direct my thoughts better, of course. Someone asked me in one of my videos, what is doing a PhD exactly in Switzerland? What are the responsibilities and what you can expect when you want to apply for that? Is it just doing a research? Is it more of like assisting in the classrooms? Or is there something else that you need to also know? Because, of course, it can affect your decisions. Maybe you want to try your chances for other countries, maybe in the US or in the other European countries. But why here in Switzerland? I can start from the contract that you will have, and there mainly they will detail it down for you to what extent, what would be the percentage of your responsibility. For example, what would be the percentage of you working on your own research, and what would be the percentage of the rest of the responsibilities. For example, for me, yes, it was including assisting in the teachings, and I was for 4 years attending the courses for master's and bachelor students when it came to the practicals or teaching them or practicing with them the questions. So I was teaching assistant as well. I had that role. But it was really fun. I would say that even if you don't have it, it's not in your contract, look for it, ask for it, because it's not only a great experience that you can add to your resume and say that you have that teaching experience, but also it's good for you. You develop the way of communication with the students or with different type of people, or you get the chance to teach the topic of your profession and talking about that in another level of understanding that the rest of the people can understand, and you will find out where in fact you've taken something for granted and you can even go detail, or you yourself need to invest more time to understand. So that's one topic. The other topic is, of course, your own research. Why should you choose to do your PhD here in Swiss universities? I can talk about more about ETH. Let me show you also a little bit this beautiful view. You see the lake and also all the boats. This is gorgeous, this area. I love it. Whenever you come here, I hope we get the chance to have coffee next to this lake together. So, yes. Why should you do your PhD here? Doing a research in Swiss university, it means that you can go truly deeply into that research topic. Why? How is that different? You have access to the knowledge from the professors, from the working groups, which are really top. So if you do some search, you see that Swiss universities are really strong in doing the research. So not only you can collaborate closely with them, but also you have access to the laboratories, to the facilities, which might not be that easy if you are working somewhere else, which are not providing that chance to you. At the same time, a lot of European countries are close to you, of course, and there are a lot of conferences. At the same time, normally the funding is very good here, and this gives you the opportunity to attend lots of congress and conferences all around the globe. So you can communicate your research more often, closely with people, build collaboration or learn from them, hear the feedbacks, hear the counterintuitive arguments. And these are all the facts that prepare you as a deep scientific researcher. And how beautiful is that? And then next, which are very interesting, or which is very interesting, is the fact that you have a working contract. Why I'm saying working means that it is considered that you are, as PhD student, the employee. So you receive salary from the funding that the professor has for that project. And this monthly salary, I believe that is much better than the rest of, or many of the other universities in the other countries. So this is a great opportunity. At the same time, you are doing your research, and at the same time, you are being paid better than the other universities. And of course, it's not still equivalent to the salaries that you can have in industry. And some people after the master's think that should they really do some PhD, or they suffice to the masters and go to the industry, because of course the salary there, if you're talking about at least Switzerland or I think any part of the world, the salary in the industry is better. And they're thinking that which one is better to be done. This is a great question, but this live is not for that. Of course, later I will talk about the fact that if it's more reasonable, you go for the next PhD or for the next level, in fact, not a second PhD, but you should do a PhD or start your work in industry. But what I want to mention is, although the salary is not equivalent to the industrial salary, in many cases, because now I'm saying that, okay, if your field is engineering, specific field of study in university, still for PhDs, they earn very well. But if you're in science, or at least what I've studied, it was much less than what you could earn in industry. But still, that was very good compared to the universities in the other part of the globe. And if you manage your financials well, you would save and also live very well. Of course, it depends on your definition of very well, on your standards, all these facts. But what I want to say that it doesn't mean that you should live with bare minimum standards if you are only one person. So in our case, we lived with one doctoral salary. We were two people for a while, and still we could live well, at least based on our standards at a time which was okay for us. So the salary is really helpful. Of course, this working contract would be different when you have working contract in industry when it comes to applying for permit, if you are non-European, if you are non-Swiss. So you should take care of that. But when we are talking about working contract as a PhD student, it means that you are paying taxes and you are also being paid the salary.